fantastically finished.
Yes, welcome back. And we are looking at stadium management and maintenance culture. If there is any continent that needs it, especially any country at this time, I think Nigeria is one of them. Africa also, because of the way CAF is strict about the usage of a lot of stadiums on the continent. So if your stadium does not meet up to the standard, then your home games will be played in another man's country or another country. And you know what that means for the reputation of your country. But let's talk about how to maintain some of the stadium that we have all around us. Joining me to look at this is a sports and business manager, a member of the Stadium Managers Association in the United States of America. Sir Abbas joins me. And Sir Abbas, thanks for joining me. How are you doing? And how is the United States today?
Well, it's fine. It's pretty hot out here. Really, really hot. And it's quite difficult to deal with. Yeah, a lot of people are enjoying the summer, but definitely not me. I like the winter better.
All right. Okay, let's get down to the business. We're looking at stadium management and maintenance culture. And very soon I know that some of you will come back home to teach us how to do it. But let's look at how CAF is going about its business these days. If your stadium does not meet the standard, that means you have to find another home ground. And right now, if you look at, like, using Nigeria as a case study, about just one, if you are to play any international game now, you just have two stadiums that could meet up. Maybe the National Stadium in New York, that's Akwa Ibom State, which you're familiar with, as well as the National Stadium, the Abiola Stadium, the MKO Abiola Stadium. How do we get out and get running and, of course, stand to be counted to make sure we have lots of the standard stadium around?
Well, first, we can't entirely put the blame on CAF. It's a FIFA standard. You know, recently FIFA came up with a guideline and then sent it to all member confederations, guidelines that put stadiums in the right place. So over time, people has always felt like you need to get good stadium for FIFA tournament, but no, FIFA has said those stadiums has to be ready for every senior national team games, not just FIFA tournaments. And the guidelines have been sent to, confederations, and FIFA has also said sticking to those rules, to those guidelines is a matter of the confederation and not FIFA anymore. And that is why I think CAF is going out all strong on various nations and member federations. Okay. But then I think it's just the right thing to do. We can have a professional athletes who play out there in Europe, in America, all over the world, but for them to come back to, continental games or international tournament, friendly games, and play on very terrible pitches, which are, one, bad for the game, bad for their health, bad for the high aesthetics that we see on TV. It's really terrible. I think African countries, Nigeria as well, need to do better when it comes to pitch maintenance. And like you rightly said, if there is any stadium that can easily host a game right now in Nigeria, it has to be the Godfrey Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. The recently refurbished MKO Abiola Stadium is also of a questionable standard right now with so many things around. I feel like we can do a lot better to improve our facilities. This is not. It is not rocket science. It is just about changing our socio-cultural mentality as to how we handle sport as a whole. But now that we're bringing it down to facility, it also has to go in towards that direction. You mentioned the Uyo Stadium. We call it Godfrey Akpabio Stadium. We talked about the National Stadium in Abuja. We call it the MKO Abiola Stadium. I would say, yes, in as much as we are trying to, put legacy to some national heroes, make these stadiums a monument for them, so that their legacies can always be remembered forever. It is not exactly attainable in the world anymore. We've moved to a point where stadiums are now having naming rights. Sport facilities are having naming rights. They are signing multi-million-dollar deals. Just corporate organizations are putting multi-million dollars into having their name attached to a stadium. These are the kind of money that we need to, reinvent, refurbish, to keep maintaining the stadium.
Of course, you belong to the Stadium Managers Association. I'm not sure there's anything like that back home. Are you guys, what can you do to make sure that in terms of this, maybe we could begin to have this kind of conversation and there is an awareness? Don't you think so?
Oh, yes. I feel like the Stadium Manager Association here in the U.S. are doing quite a lot, and they have their annual seminars, not just bringing the very best experts. It will surprise you that when you look at the number of people who comprise making stadium work, it's beyond what we think it is back home in Nigeria, what we think the NFF president or someone from the sport ministry is just capable of looking at things. We have experts when it comes to ticketing. We have experts when it comes to stadium securities, advanced technologies. I mean, technologies that could easily detect emanations, unwanted items at the stadium from miles away from the stadium. That is how far these guys have gone. And they always come together at the beginning of every year, sometimes very close to the Super Bowl, come together, brainstorm in like 3-4 days, 5 days seminar. Everybody, the industry best, come together, share ideas, share knowledge on what they have been doing at their various stadiums across the United States. And that way they've been able to improve stadiums. Stadiums managers are beginning to, improve on what they have right now. Some are even buying new lands with the support of local authorities, building very fresh stadium. We can do this in Nigeria. We just need to put the structure in place. And you and I know that we don't have the structure in place, but we can start from somewhere. It's like I said earlier, it's not rocket science. It's just about making deliberate attempts. I want to draw you back quickly to what South Africa is doing. Amidst all this CAF banning, CAF threat here and there, I don't think South Africa is worried in any way, because South Africa has a private organization called the Stadium Management South Africa. It is a private entity that's in charge of the 4 flagship South African stadium. Talk about the Orlando Stadium, the FNB Stadium. We're also looking at the Domsbow Stadium. These guys have an agreement with the government. They are a private organization. The government has handed the stadium to them. They don't receive grants from government. They don't receive any subvention from government. They don't receive anything from government. They assume all the financial risk of maintaining the stadium. This is not even like an association. This is just a private entity maintaining 4 huge South African stadiums. They run it as a business. Even when the Soweto derby between Orlando Pirates and what's it called now?
Kaiser Chiefs.
Kaiser Chiefs, when they play at the FNB Stadium, when they go there to play, it must be with the absolute knowledge of this SNSA. There must be some fee you pay to them. There's a lot of world-class concert that's been held at that stadium. There's enough hospitality, situation that also go around the stadium. There's so many things that they run. They run the business. They run the stadium as a business. They maintain it. It has to be kept. The government has no hand. If any political rally will be held there, they also have to pay. The government have to pay, because these guys are assuming all the financial risk, so they need to keep it in place. That is what we can begin to do. Like a couple of years back,
you know what? I think I will have to. I had to wake you up very early this morning, and I think we need to stop it here because of time. And I'm proud of what you've been able to tell us on the show today, and I must say thank you. And let's do this again. I hope we could create time and have some other conversation. But because this show is about improving, creating healthy conversation around sports business globally as well as in Nigeria, we will continue to have people like you around. Thank you very much, Swara, for joining me. Well, that's it for today. today's edition. This is how the cookie crumbles. Thanks for joining me. Let's do this again some other time. Till I come your way. Gideon is my name. See you some other time.